Hello, I now invite you to take a different perspective of digital technology and academic ethics. Digital technology converts information into the binary system that makes data handling, processing, and distribution more efficient. Information can easily be searched, accessed, collected, copied, sorted, produced, reproduced, and distributed. These all have implications on academic ethics, positively and negatively. At the same time, digital technology allows us to commit plagiarism, whether intentionally or unintentionally. We may expose ourselves to issues of data privacy and security. Worse is if we breach privacy and security of others, all because we can. Digital technology likewise blurs our understanding of authorship and intellectual property rights, or IPR. And because digital technology is able to package huge amounts of data for easy access, we may suffer from data overload. It's not uncommon for digital technology to be blamed for emerging issues, including the decline of academic ethics. Albert Borgman cautions us to think about how technology may influence us in ways we take for granted. Seduced by the instant gratification of digital technology, we may forget that its design may develop harmful habits. Before I left for Canada in 2010 to take my PhD, I was a regular speaker at the UP College of Mass Communications annual orientation for incoming students. My assigned topic was always plagiarism. But when I came back to the Philippines in 2014, I had a different perspective. Borgman and Rushkoff gave me a lot to think about. Technology allows us to complete otherwise rigorous tasks in an instant. It allows us to defy the limits of our bodies. But if we listen to Borgman, technology may not always give us the good life we'd like. These shortcuts come at a price, as Rushkoff reminds us. In the emerging, highly programmed landscape ahead, you will either create the software or you be the software. It's really that simple. Program or be programmed. So we should not stop learning the code just because we don't need to know the hidden algorithms of our devices. Does that sound a bit too dense? Let me give you some clear examples. This is a code. When I was in grade school, I clearly remember being taught how to do sentence diagrams. I learned parts of speech and how they function by creating the visual blueprint of English sentences. Now, students have the luxury of automating their grammar checks for free. Even word processing apps suggest revisions to your text as you type. Since technology can do this for us, do we still value learning English grammar? Here is another example of a forgotten code. When I was young, we learned the note card system. We would physically go to the library, physically search and read books, and physically copy original text on index cards. Because we wrote our citations on these cards, we remembered to properly cite our sources. Now, here are a few things you should know about plagiarism. Plagiarism comes from the word plagiarius, which means kidnapper, plunderer, thief, and seducer. Obviously, there is nothing good or even neutral about plagiarism. It refers to the unacceptable act of passing off someone else's words or ideas as your own. Thus, it goes against the tenets of scholarship. What you must remember, however, is that Philippine universities have yet to distinguish between deliberate and unintentional plagiarism. Plagiarism is plagiarism whether you meant to do it or not. To give you a deeper understanding of plagiarism, I will tease out some of the hows and whys of technology's influence. But I won't be blaming technology for plagiarism. Instead, I will try to draw your attention to technology's contributions to its complexities and simplicities. For one, today's research somehow involves Google. Google Scholar's motto is to stand on the shoulders of giants. This line was popularized by Sir Isaac Newton. Keith et al. 2016 says it involves discovering truth by building on previous discoveries. Our accomplishments take off from the accomplishments of those who came before us. In fact, that line is best illustrated by the Greek myth of the blind giant Orion, carrying the young teacher Sidalion on his shoulders to help him see. If you notice, Google Scholar makes it easier for you to cite sources, even providing you with 5 formatting styles and the use of 4 reference management apps. Attribution is our way of tipping our hats to the giants who came before us, scholars who contributed to our collective knowledge as a community. If my point still remains unclear, here is what I mean. Our laborious task of citing our sources in our research reports acknowledges our membership to a community of scholars. Our community lives by 5 pillars of academic integrity: honesty, trust, fairness, respect, and responsibility. All these give us courage to pursue scholarly research. That is why plagiarism remains the greatest of crimes in the academic community. Like I warned you, our universities don't make a distinction between deliberate and unintentional plagiarism. What's even more troubling is that we can easily suffer from cryptomnesia. We're all vulnerable to this, especially since we absorb so much information in hyperspeed, which is what digital technology offers us constantly. Cryptomnesia may cause you to forget that an idea is not originally yours. How much more when academic research now involves simply copying and pasting original text from one window to another. Yes, it's no longer as difficult as having to create note cards, but the convenience of digital technology allows you to set aside and forget the rigor required in academic research. Yet again, let's go back to Borgman. The habits we develop through technology predispose us to committing plagiarism. If you don't believe me, consider how digital technology has influenced the way plagiarism has evolved. On this slide are the types of plagiarism according to plagiarism.org, a reference I've used to prepare for plagiarism presentations. Please note that the right column shows just how digital technology has been integrated into plagiarism. Again, I'm not saying digital technology is at fault. If anything, these typologies emerged because we apply digital technology in this way. Think of how tweeting, crowdsourcing, sharing, tagging, and other things you do on social media blur the lines of authorship and may lead you to commit these types of plagiarism. For example, the clone, or submitting another's work word for word as one's own. Control-C, where the document contains portions of text from a single source without alterations. Find-replace, where keywords and phrases are replaced but the document still retains the essential content of the original source. The remix, wherein a document paraphrases multiple sources and puts things together. Recycle happens when an author generously borrows from work previously done for another purpose without citation. This is self-plagiarism. You also have the hybrid, which combines perfectly cited sources with copied passages without citation. Then there's the mash-up, which mixes copied materials from multiple sources. Let me remind you that while technology makes it easy to plagiarize, technology also makes it easy to catch plagiarism. You don't even have to use originality software like Turnitin or Authenticate. It's as simple as doing a Google search. Then a more deliberate form of plagiarism is the 404 error, where a document includes citations to non-existent or inaccurate information about a source. On the other hand, aggregator is a common form of unintended plagiarism by students new to academic writing. This document contains proper citation that has almost no original thought. Finally, you can do a retweet, which includes proper citation but relies too closely on the text's original wording and/or structure. Fortunately, online habits are now changing. Content creators are recognizing the need to attribute borrowed material. I see people on Facebook and YouTube finding ways to cite their sources. I'm sure it also happens now on Twitter and other platforms. So let me encourage you to change your online habits to align with the ideals of scholarly research. So, how can we avoid plagiarism? Copy and paste with caution. Cite sources. Use quotation marks. Paraphrase or summarize when not using quotation marks. When directly quoting, include page or paragraph numbers. Provide hyperlinks to original sources and be mindful of your citations. Don't just copy and paste. You may not be open to the old-fashioned note card system, but you can create your own techniques of reminding yourself that the borrowed text is not yours. I've learned to create a matrix just like this on Word. It helps me remember what I might easily forget. So, do what you need to do and be mindful of your habits. We've reached the end of this video. Thanks for watching.